Yo, it's your boy LOZA. We're looking at my Dark Magician Dogmatika deck that I played in the top 8 Quarantine Cup tournament recently. You saw me lose to Duck in one of my previous videos, so this list won't be very useful anymore. But people wanted to see it, and here it is. I'll go over why I played some of the cards I did. So we'll get to the hand traps because they're probably the most important part. Ash Blossom at 3 because I knew I was versing Virtual World first, and I'm like, Ash is always good to hit Lulu, and Ash hits like everything in the meta. So I theorized going on my next round, if I beat Doc, would have been between Kyra or Andrew. Kyra would play either Heroes or Dragon Link, and Andrew would play Mutants, most likely. He's been playing a lot of Mutants. He's a really good Mutant player. So based on that, I was like, well, Ash hits like all of these decks pretty well, so I'll put it in. It's pretty generic, like whatever, put in Ash. The next hand trap is Nibiru, and Nibiru's kind of in that same boat where I went, while it's terrible against the Mutant deck, which I might verse, if I do manage to beat Dark playing Virtual World, which obviously I didn't, but in a perfect world where I beat Dark, the next step would be to verse Kyra or Andrew, and Kyra would have been on Heroes or Dragon Link, and Nibiru's great there. Obviously, Mutants, it would get sided out. And then if I managed to win there, I would have been versing, I think I predicted Josh or Jake. I can't remember. It was something like that. But basically, Josh would be playing Salad, because that's all he plays. And Jake would be playing Invoked Shadow. Sorry, no, Invoked Dogmatika, sorry. But he could play Adignistas if he wanted to, or Mech Knight Invoked. He plays a couple of things. So Nibiru's really good against Salad there. Nibiru's pretty good against Mech Knight Invoked, maybe if they don't see Alistair. Or it is good against Adignistas, obviously. But yeah, I just thought Nibiru in the main would be a really good card, and I think it was. It did well against Duck in game 2, where some people were like in the comments, why didn't why did you side in Nibiru even though you were playing first? And it's like, well, I didn't side in Nibiru. It was in the main. So yeah, I'll go over like what I sided in and out in that game as well. So moving on with the list, the only other hand trap is Imperm, and that's because I was sitting down with Lewis and he was helping me theorycraft this. And Lewis is a really good locals player. He's probably one of the best players in Wollongong, alongside some of the other great players like Josh and Jake and that. But yeah, Lewis was just like, well, the only other like decent generic hand traps Imperm, and the more we thought about it, we like thought about all these other hand traps. We went through like Droll and everything, and we just went, you know what, Imperm kind of hits everything. And while it wasn't that good against Virtual World, we went, well, Virtual World have to make Tzolk'in, and Imperm hits Tzolk'in. So we were just like, you know what, it's probably better than half the other hand traps. So we went with Imperm. Um, I don't think it was bad. I didn't see it, so I can't really comment on it. So yeah, it just got cited out in game 2 for Solemn Judgments. But anyway, let's go through the list real quick. I'll just go over everything, but I think everyone knows what I play. 2 Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes, 1 Dark Magician Girl, 3 Ash, 3 Nibiru, triple Magician Rod, triple Souls, the Dogmatika package being 1 Ecclesia, 1 Fleur, and then the triple Nadir. We've got the Call By because it makes Red Eyes Fusion broken. We've got the Dark Magical Circle at 1. Magical Eyes Fusion to make second Dragoon, Salvation at 1, Red Eyes Fusion at 3, the Sky Striker package of Engage, and Drones. I opted to not play Eagle Booster. Soul Servant at 3, always going to be at 3. This card is just crazy. Punishment at 2. Honestly, you can play Punishment at 1 to 3. Like, they're good. They're just good. I just went for 2 for space. 1 Eternal Soul, obviously the 3 Imperm we talked about, and the Skill Drain because it wins games. So the crazy thing here was I was playing 2 Circle, but I cut it back to make room for more hand traps. And I've made videos in the past or talked to people in the past in the comments and on YouTube, on Discord and Facebook, and been like, you know what, don't play hand traps right now, like play heavy traps because they're really good. And like the Team Samurai build was playing heavy traps, and I do agree with that, and playing floodgates and all that jazz, that's great. But I felt like when I was assessing with Lewis, I was like, Gozen doesn't really hit Virtual World that well, and it like Rivalry kind of hits it. It's super weird, and I don't know. I didn't think that would help me in the long run. Like I'd be versing potentially Kyra playing Heroes or D-Link, and Gozen and Virtual World. Gozen and Rivalry do a little bit there, but I just didn't think they do enough with the people I'd be versing. So I thought about even there can only be one, because like this deck can kind of play around that, like not really, but I thought about it anyway, just to throw it out there. I didn't think it was worth it either, and we'd have to play around it. It'd be weird. But Overall, I'm pretty happy with the list. There's definitely changes that could be made. But yeah, I don't know. The list performed pretty well. I think it was actually just me who misplayed the list a bit in the tournament. I'll go over the extra real quick. 2 Dragoon, we've got the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, so you send this off the Nadir sometimes, or the Punishment sometimes, just so you can get some draws with Soul Servant going. It doesn't come up that much, but the other niche use is this card identifies as Dark Magician in the grave. Obviously, that's how we get the draw. But that also means for Magicalized, you can obviously Magicalize the turn after you've Nadir'd it away, and you can make a Dragoon like that if you've got a dragon in the grave, like I'm Duck. But this obviously is also a dragon, so it can fulfill either role with Magicalize. This card can be Dark Magician, or it can be the dragon for Dragoon. So it's pretty cool for sending off Nadir for that reason, I think. It's pretty nice. This is the card you want to be sending off Nadir a lot of the time, unless you've opened one of the Dogmatika monsters, and all this card does is ensure that if you see punishment on a deer, you're able to get into a Dogmatika play and hopefully get yourself another punishment. So that's really cool. El Dentiny Tis, not much to say here. Makes an Nadir like insane going second, and it makes punishment pop too. Access code, this was really good in the tournament. I believe I made it, I made it going second to Outer Crystal Wing, but unfortunately he had Pot of Desires and he top decked Desires. Like, what can you do? Not a lot. I did think I should have won that game, but I probably shouldn't have held my punishment in game 3. And I mean, yeah, Pot of Desires was real nice. Celine, because it turbos you up to access code, not to mention she's a spellcaster lady who can revive Dragoon. She can summon Dark Magician if you want to trigger Circle or something. Like, she can even bring back Fleur-de-Lis, and Fleur-de-Lis is just a big body, so, like, that's fine. If you don't have money for the access code or Celine, like I don't even own I don't own access code IRL. I have Celine because she's like $5. But access code's like $200 in Australia. So if you don't want to play this, you can play the Blackluster Soldier Ritual Monster. Link Monster. It's really good. It's obviously not as good as this, but it's good. It's cool. Play it. I like it. I'd probably put it in if I had room. Artemis, I can't stress enough how good this card is. I'm going to make a video on it soon. Some people have been asking for it, and there's still people who don't see the value in this card in this deck, which to me is just crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. I think I've shown it off a bit, but I'm going to make a video all about it, like a 10-minute video just ranting about Artemis. So please play Artemis. I'm Doc is obviously another way to make Double Dragoon, which I've shown off before. Link Spider is pretty straightforward. It's for the Striker package, but it's also for Dark Magician recycle stuff. So that makes sense. And yeah, the Striker package is the Striker package. So the sides. I went for 2 Cosmic and 1 Duster. Pardon me. That is just because Virtual World kind of die in the ass to those, so I put them in. And Pancratops is kind of just another card that's a body you can link with, or it's just interruption. Pank is just such a good card, so you should always play that going second. Yeah, I don't really see like a time where you ever wouldn't want to play this going second. I know it's a 1, but like, fuck it. If you see it, it's so good. Drolan Lock, I don't think I cited this in, but I wanted it for later matchups if I had to verse Invoked later down the line, or Dragon Link, because it's pretty... I always feel like when I draw Dragon Link, they still go off, but it still is nice. And it's good against other decks playing Nadir and Invoked, so I thought I'd put it in. Only at 2, because I just didn't really have the room, unfortunately. I did want to max out on Lancia, because I did side this in against Dark. Didn't see it, though. Absolutely. I need to sleep more, I'm sorry. I've been working so much. So yeah, Lancia, really good against a lot of the decks I would have been versing. Like, it would have been great against Mutants because they try to banish a lot. It would have been great against Virtual World, which I sided in, just didn't see it. It's great against Invoked and stuff. When they play Invocation, you just drop it. So pretty much as good against a majority of what I thought I was going to verse. So I thought it was a fair play. Not to mention, I really like the artifacts in this deck because they double up with a very niche second use, which doesn't come up too much, but... obviously Magician Souls can send spell traps, and you can set these in the spell trap zone. So if you do open like 3 Lancia with Magician Souls, you might need 2 Lancia, but you never really need 3. So you can send one away with Souls to get a draw. I don't mind that. That's cheeky. Obviously that won't come up too much, but it's just a nice thing to know. Evenly matched. This card is just really good. And I don't feel like we need the battle phase too bad. Like, we don't need to OTK too bad. So I just went for evenly matched as my removal card. One, because I own it in real life, so I don't know, it felt more realistic, even though I don't own access code. But two, I just think it's kind of in a way better than Lightning Storm and that jazz. Like, yeah, I know with Lightning Storm you can go for game afterwards, but I do find Dragoon Turbo struggles to find game anyway, unless you summon Dragoon and go pop pop and then swing for game, which doesn't happen too much, to be honest. Apologies. Ah, god damn. Lost card, Solemn Judgment. This card's great. I cited it in. Did I see it? I don't think I saw it. But yeah, it went in over Imperm in games 2. Just game 2. Yeah, just game 2. Then in game 3, I swapped it out for Evenly Matched. And I had Cosmics in as well. And unfortunately, yeah, I had the Cosmic set when I had after the access code popped the Crystal Wing. I had Cosmic set and Punishment set. And I thought I was good with like a massive beater and punishment and cosmic, but unfortunately I held the punishment a bit too long, and yeah, cosmic did nothing. I was kind of disappointed in that. I was like, wow, I could have just not sided this in, it would have been better, but it is what it is. I hope you like the deck profile. I know a lot of people were keen to see it, and I do have a video coming soon of me playing the deck. I've been playing it on Dueling Book, actually, just trying to play a bit of ranked on here to get my plays up, so I have some replays to show off. I want ones of me winning and losing. So far I have a win and I have a loss. I believe the win's to Altergeist, which is nice because it's another spellcaster control deck very similar to us. The loss is to Prank Kids, and he just opens nuts, so it's pretty crazy. That just happens sometimes. But yeah, I'll have those videos coming up soon, so get keen, my fellow gamers. We be Dark Magician Gang, and we be saying, Dark Magician best deck. Peace! That was very cringe, I'm sorry, but I'm not.